home. Einen wunderschönen guten Tag, meine sehr verehrten Damen und Herren, mein Name ist Rageki und willkommen zurück zu einem neuen Cast hier bei Arya-Entertainment. Heute in der PrimeLeague ECLIPSE Esports Team Midnight Blossom gegen WOODLAND TRIDENT. Kurzer Disclaimer zu Beginn. Heute casten wir mal nicht auf Deutsch, wir casten auf Englisch und eben um da auch eine perfekte Transition zu schaffen, bin ich heute mal wieder nicht alleine. Ich habe mal wieder jemanden dabei und zwar ist an meiner Seite Crazy Bro. How you doing?
Hello, yeah, I'm the reason it's in English today, so I'm sorry for the German watchers, but yeah, I'm doing good. I'm excited for the games. I hope we're gonna see some bangers, and yeah.
I'm actually also pretty hyped.
Yeah, me too, man. I can't wait for the games, honestly.
I think everyone should know Crazy Bro. Crazy Bro is the midlaner of Venary, so I think someone you should already know. I don't think you have seen him in person, right? No, you gave one interview.
Two actually. Yeah.
Two interviews.
Yeah. Two interviews.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm not as informed as I should be.
That's fine. That's all right. That's okay. I don't expect anybody to know me anyway. So. Besides, I'm here as a caster and not as a player today, so that's something else as well, right?
Yeah, I think this is actually a really cool thing, because at first I thought you were only like a player, just like the mid lane of Venary, and when I heard that you were casting as well, I'm casting with you today, I got pretty hyped at it because like the knowledge you bring to the game is like insanely high, especially compared to the knowledge I do have, because I'm just one ADC who is currently, I think, in Bronze 2. So so it's always nice to see how other people who have like a decent amount of more knowledge than I do have, like hearing their opinions about their plays or about the situation we currently have in game.
Yeah, I mean, we're just gonna see different perspectives, right? So yeah, especially as we're getting into the ban phase, we're gonna see if our patterns here are gonna emerge. For the side, the Sona is coming out, not too much of a surprise. We've seen Sona banned or picked a lot of times, even if you look at the OP2GG. With the Aatrox response, also another ban, Akshan, all according to plan, actually. Yeah, if you did your scouting, you would know that all of these bans are pretty regular. Some other bans we might see today are Sejuani, Syndra, Fiora, Anivia's already taken away, and the Victor goes here.
Yeah, I actually think the Aatrox, but still, if you've seen the Worlds, Aatrox is a reasonable ban, as well as Anivia and Renata. Like both are just really good picks and big lane bullies, especially Anivia with her wave clear, who is just like a massive monster on the mid lane. And you also get like the Renata pick. Why it is banned? Because like Renata is I think the how do I say, the her way into the rift started a bit hard, and I like how she became meta, because her kit is actually really enjoyable to watch, because it's so unique to the game.
Yeah, definitely, I agree. It's a very unique kit. They also take away the Renata here because they want to play for the Leona Viego. You can already see they want to go for the picks, and Renata makes it pretty hard with the bailout, especially if you're able to kill somebody. You can just get revived. That Viego passive is not going to work out then. We see the Seraphine pick here on the side of ECLIPSE Esports, and then the answer obviously was the Leona and the Viego. Leona is not something we've seen from WOODLAND TRIDENT just yet, but I mean, it's kind of telegraphing, right? I expect them to probably pick an ADC here, unless they want to high prio their mid lane, since they already do see the opponent.
I think you swapped.
For example,
teams.
Sylas is over. Oh, did I swap the teams?
Yeah, you swapped the teams.
Did I actually? Oh my
ECLIPSE Esports went for Leona Viego, and WOODLAND TRIDENT went for Seraphine and Swain.
Okay, we go for transformation.
Just saying.
We go for the transformation. Well, what I like about ECLIPSE Esports' draft is the Sylas here. Sylas was a pick that we've seen banned a lot of the times, and especially, as I was saying, we now see the opponent already in Swain on the side of WOODLAND TRIDENT, and Sylas into Swain is just so strong.
Yeah, it's just I like how I like how the pick got recognized and just like straight up went to a counter pick. And still, Sylas still has enough ultimates. Even if he doesn't use the Swain ultimate, he still have enough. For example, the Seraphine ultimate, which is just ridiculously strong. So I think a really good pick.
Yeah, definitely. As the last bans came out, you can see Graves and Jarvan taken away from the jungler, since obviously the ADC and the jungler is the only thing that left. I think Jarvan is a good ban here as well. They usually want to go for something like Jarvan with a strong top side rather, which they already have with the Fiora. They do opt for the Caitlyn here. I like it because we have the Leona, obviously. The trap DCC into the trap, one trap for like one Eclipse Sword by Leona is going to be one kill every single time. Plus, it gives some extra range to the rather short range comp that Eclipse Esports have drafted for themselves so far.
A very strong bot lane combination here on Eclipse Esports. As like Leona is still ridiculously strong. The point and click CC is insane, and also with a W, like the tankiness she's building up with that spell is just insane. Like especially in early game, you just can't kill her. Then what we do see is actually the Kindred in jungle, which I think is a very nice pick to see, since Kindred is a really hard jungler to master and also to get into, because her kit is more like an ADC. And I like how Riot Games just gave her a passive which makes her really viable for the jungle.
Yeah, definitely. The marks is what you're gonna want to be looking at. If we think about Kindred, we also think about scuttle control, but I think that's rather gonna be hard. But it depends on which side. I think top side they're gonna have the counter pick just now. They're going for the Gnar. It's an okay pick. I personally wouldn't take a Gnar on the last pick. If you're gonna give your counter pick anyway, then maybe pick something spicier. But the Gnar, nonetheless, you're fine in lane. The Fiora has a good win rate on the side of the Woodland Trident, so definitely more of a safe pick. As I was saying, with the scuttle control, I think if the scuttle spawns on top side, I do think Woodland Trident have a little bit of the advantage to fight for the mark there. But if it's on the bot side, with that Caitlyn, Leona, it's going to be rather hard. Because the Seraphine and the Thresh combo is a little bit untraditional, I feel like. You have the Seraphine who kind of wants to scale, who's a little bit more less aggressive, I would say. And then you go for Thresh, who has the hook, right? So I think it's fine for the team comp, but for the bot lane itself, bit of a weird combo in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know. I see what they're trying to do. Actually, I see what the combo of bot lane combo of Woodland Trident is trying to fulfill here, and they do have like the massive wave clear with the Seraphim, also the magic damage, burst damage, which Seraphim does bring actually, especially after the last chapter power spike, where she gets insanely strong, like on level 3, even on level 4,
Yeah.
and this is very nice actually to zone out the Caitlyn and get a good poke on Leona. So if Fresh decides to go in and engage like with his Q E combo, and even if he uses his lantern to get like for example the Kindred near them, or the Swain, which I think is actually a very good roam. If he goes down there, they execute their comp, like Fresh throws a Q onto Caitlyn and pulls himself to her, presses A, and Seraphim is just doing all his spells. If Swain also gets into that fight, I think this is going to be an easy double kill.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the Swain has a W to help from the bot lane, from the mid lane rather as well, right? And I do understand, like, especially the setup for the Kindreds. You can definitely see that's what they're kind of playing for. They carry Kindred, carry Fiora. If you look at the team, you also see that Swain, Seraphine, they have a lot of sustain. They're gonna want these long fights where they can constantly tank for the Kindred and the Fiora and peel for them and just survive overall. But then, like I said, what the side of Eclipse Esports want to do is that they want to get those fast picks. They want to one-shot these people. They want Viego to get these passives and to take over the enemy team. The thing I'm also worried about is the Silas, because I think it's actually a really good pick. So I think it's going to be worrisome for Woodland Trident, because obviously Silas with the Swain ult, you can be as sustainable as you are. But if there's a Silas with the Swain ult who also has the Kingslayer to constantly regain the HP, it's going to be rather very hard to play. And yeah, I just think overall the pick potential on the side of ECS might be a little bit higher of the side of Woodland Trident. But yeah, it feels like these teams want to do two different things, and it's going to be rather interesting to see at which moments in the game these styles are going to clash with one another.
I'm actually like the exact same opinion. Eclipse Esports has a really nice comp and it's easy to execute. It's like just going for picks, and even if you get into a team fight, you still have Venary ultimate, which is able to like do the 5-man CC. And if he still doesn't do that, you still have Silas who can just sneak like the Seraphine or the Swain ultimate, which are two very nice team for ultimates, which do a lot of damage. And with Seraphine, you have like the extra CC, still have the Leona ultimate. So very, very easy to execute, and I think this is a really nice thing to see. On the other hand, Woodland Trident, I think the Fiora pick is kind of okay, even like especially on the side lanes where she can just like split push and get a little bit of control throughout the map in the late game, so that you can actually like prepare a Baron or a Dragon, so that even if you're behind, you still have the lane control, which is done really important in the late game. You still have Kindred, does a lot of burst damage, like you just EQ and an auto attack, which procs her mark. So this is really, really good to see. I think if you are able to like get through the bot lane with Seraphine and Fresh, you have two really good laners, especially with Seraphine, who does have a lot of burst damage. But I think it's just a hard to pull through combination, which will most likely not be able to perform as well as it should against Caitlyn and Diona.
Yeah, I agree with that. The thing is, you also have this thresh, right? With the Seraphine E, it stuns or rather roots, then slows if the target is already slowed. But you do see a little bit of maybe a nasty synergy here. If the thresh does hits the E, obviously the target is slowed. So if that Seraphine E then connects, then it's rooted, set it up for a hook. But of course, that's in the best scenario that the bot lane can get, right? Also, something I want to touch on is this Kindred is the carry they're gonna play around. But I also think they drafted this to specifically counter the one-shot or pick potential that ECLIPSE Esports is bringing to the table, right?
Definitely,
they
definitely.
have that ultimate, and that ultimate is gonna be so crucial, whether or not it's being used correctly, to stopping Viego from going in these fights. Because Viego is a champion, and let me tell you, when he gets somebody, then the fight is gonna be very, very hard to play. As soon as he gets that first pick, it's gonna be very hard to actually turn the team fight around, especially looking at how much of these picks are utility picks. So if there's another utility on the side of ECLIPSE Esports next to that Leona, that Sylas, that Gnar, then it's going to be very hard for Woodland Trident to get away. So their objective is to make sure Viego does not get a reset, and then I think they're good.
Exactly. Like, as you said, if Viego gets in, I don't think there is a single scenario if you are in a 1v1 where you can get out. Either you kill him or you get killed. And I think this is also a really interesting thing to spectate throughout the game if Viego decides to invade the enemy jungle.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, you can only invade if you have really good prio, right? So I think it depends on how the lane states are going to go. I do think the prio for the bot lane is going to go over to the Caitlyn and the Leona. We do see the wave clear with the Seraphine, right? But I still think that, the prio is going to go for the Caitlyn and for the Leona. For top lane, I mean, I think the Gnar and the Fiora, I'm not too sure. I think Gnar should be able to at least survive against Fiora, but I don't think he will have an edge over her. But I don't think he needs to necessarily get an edge over her. I think if Gnar goes even, I think that's perfectly fine, even if it is a last pick. But I think if Gnar goes even, it's perfectly fine, especially if you can still wreak havoc in those team fights later, and then, really appeal for those carries.
Yeah. Actually. What we do see is the teleport pick on Seraphine, which I think is a bit interesting. You have the classic combo on ECLIPSE Esports bot lane with heal ignite, which is I think it's like the easiest way to do it. I think there are better ways, for example, to give Caitlyn a cleanse, just to get out of the situation if things get a little bit hot. But I think it's still fine to go for the heal. On the other hand, I can see why people do pick teleport on bot lane, because if the enemy bot lane gets goes back, and you still have the opportunity to go back yourself and teleport back on the lane to get a really high amount of pressure with just being like the first one on lane, pushing your way through, getting it under the tower, maybe do some tower damage or even get a plating. These are the things you do want to have.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the teleport here, obviously, it's a combat spell less, but at the end of the day, you can also look at it as as you said, a free reset, free pressure. As we're slowly getting into the game, I mean, I really wonder how they're gonna do this with the teleport. I think, Seraphine, when she gets caught out, when she's gonna get chunked, she does have a free back to base. How do you say it? Free back to base card, I guess, if you get out the DLC free card. So the thing is, it's the combat spell less, as you said. The cleanse on the Caitlyn, would have liked to seen it. I think the heal is fine. And you can argue that Caitlyn should stay out of their range regardless, so maybe the cleanse is not necessary. But I think that cleanse is like really good because you have a lot of chains to see on the side of Woodland, right? But nonetheless,
Yes.
let's see how this game pans out.
Here we are. First game of the day. ECLIPSE Esports versus Woodland Trident. I like how the overlay says Venary versus Venary.
Yeah. I was about to comment on that. It's Venary versus Venary. I swear I have nothing to do with it. I didn't do anything. I promise.
It's
On
just
my
promotion.
life.
Just bro, we got you there.
Yeah, this entire game is actually just a promotion for the game for tomorrow. I don't know if you guys know.
For tomorrow.
Tomorrow we're playing, you know.
We are playing in the PrimeLeague.
No, but this game is still very valuable on its own, of course. It is not a promotion stunt. That's not what's happening here. As we see, level 1, no shenanigans, really. They're just covering for themselves. We do see that Viego is going to start on the bot side. Oh, I mean, Kindred is going to start on the bot side. Both of the junglers are going to start respectively on their red buff. And that means that Kindred might look for that level 3 top lane onto the Gnar there, because if the Fiora does get going in this matchup, it's pretty hard to stop her.
I think actually that Gnar is I think he will just get himself pushed in, because I think if he steps forward too far, Poison of course will be bot side at this point, and I think they should know that Kindred is doing her red buff, since I think this is a pretty common thing to see.
Yeah.
Yet still Gnar is still ranged, which is a advantage I think against Fiora. But her dashes, I think, allow her to get close and to do just right amount of damage.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the range is like fine, but Gnar is not that much range. You can still, I think you're right on the tip of her Q if you're in auto attack range, but that's where you, especially at level 2, you get that that W, that's upgrade there, that you can use for the movement speed to get away from the Gnar once again. As we can see, mid lane is already getting pushed in a little bit, but that's completely fine. That's what you expect in the Sylas Swain matchup. We can see top lane is rather even, as Gnar also went for the fleet footwork, which I think is fine to survive the laning phase. Which we talked about, I think is probably going to be crucial, right? Like the Gnar really doesn't want to get behind in this matchup, and not only because of the matchup, but also because you did invest that last pick. As we see a little engage here onto the mid lane, Frostpigeon might be in a little bit of a difficult
but this is very well executed if you look at that. Like
really
I mean,
yeah.
very nice engage here of CO Panties, and Frostpigeon does nothing, has nothing against that, and there's still Kindred coming for him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was a good ward as well from CO Panties pretty early on. Recognized that Kindred was going to be on the top side since they knew that she started bot lane. As we also see that the Viego is here. The flash does come out from Frostpigeon in the mid lane. Manages to get away. That's a free flash for nothing. And no junglers are going to see each other this time yet.
Actually, a really nice play there from ECLIPSE Esports, and I like how Frostpigeon saw the danger and still decided to get out and to not give up the first blood, which could have been a thing in this situation. And if Visidus, if CO Panties gets this first blood, I think this will be devastating for the mid lane of Woodland Trident, and you definitely don't want a Sidus with 400 gold in the first minutes.
You do not want to Sylas with 400 gold in 4 minutes, as we see a little bit of a hiccup going on to the bot lane here. Still a nice trade back, but yeah, that's what we talked about, right? Even a good hook from Thresh there. If that's a traditional ADC, maybe that's a little kill or a combat summoner at least, but so far the Caitlyn just gets out because Seraphine doesn't have a whole lot of kill pressure just yet. As Leona
this is cocky.
Under the tower, and this is going to be first blood. Not sure what went on over here. I think she got a little bit too excited, but it is Haubitzenbruder with the first blood for Woodland Trident. As you see back in the mid lane, no flash onto the Swain. This has to be a kill. Viego will still have flash if necessary. It's not even going to be necessary to flash, but he... okay. Well, has to flash away in the end, nonetheless. But, yeah, the Leona there was a little bit too aggressive by going onto the tower. As Kira now is in trouble. Maybe he can find the 1v2. Doesn't quite find it just yet, but they do have to back off. He gets away in the end, but what did I just witness in both mid lane and bot lane?
There happened a lot of there happened a lot of stuff actually on the map, and I like how things are actually
Hook Rai is gonna have to flash here.
Oh no!
Really nice flash and hook from the Thresh. And I was talking about how the Seraphine is not that aggressive in lane, but if the Leona goes under the tower and the Thresh manages to connect every single hook, then it starts to get hard a little bit. CO Panties tries to go for round 3 or 4. I had lost count by this point, but has to get away in the end. Still has a flash if they want to do for something, but now the Kindred is looking bot lane.
Oh, but that's wacky coming from the jungle, and
what a nice
play.
Heated. Leona still has a flash. She should be able to get away just here, and the Thresh so far is styling on this game.
Damn. Oh, Bitzenbruder.
What does that mean? Can you fill me in?
A Haubitze is a weapon that had used back in World War One, and Haubitzenbruder means something like Haubitzenbrother.
Yeah. Okay.
There was something called a Panzerhaubitze, which is an anti-tank weapon.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Would do
Yeah, we can see the level 6 to the level 5. Ooh, really nice riposte. This means it's gonna be solo bolo. We do see the stun coming out here, the Q as well, the fleet footwork. What's it gonna be able to do? Not much, because the flash coming out from Pain. And that's a flash for nothing for the side of Greatex. And that was a really nice riposte. As once again, Swain does not have flash here. We do see the Swain is gonna be able to get away just like that. Does not get trapped, does not get stun CC'd, as we talked about in the champ select. So that's just that. He's gonna be able to get away. But top lane, really nice engage from Pain there. Recognize that he was a level up higher. It's just a little bit of those mind games. When are you gonna repost? When am I gonna use my Gnar? When am I gonna use my Wallop? And it's pretty hard to determine when is what.
There was a massive play from Greatex, who used his riposte like in the right time, and oh, there's a fight over Scuttle, and
there is a fight over Scuttle. Now the mark did go down for the Kindred, I think. Fauchen is decided not to chase continue because he does not have flash anymore, and the Kindred does have the flash. Another great play coming out. Ooh, the hook barely disconnects. I don't think it was gonna be a kill nonetheless, but it would be a lot of damage. And the flays have been on point. This Thresh counterpick has been really, really working. We talked about it in drafts. We felt that it might have been a little bit of untraditional to put Seraphine together with the Thresh, but the counterpick is working and in full motion.
Yeah, it's actually popping off. It's like it's worth the try, and as we can see, he does a really, really good job there.
Definitely. I mean, Haubitzenbruder is not landing every single hook, of course, but has landed most of them, has made his plays, has flayed, I think, every single time Leona went in, except for that one time that she went on her tower, because that's where you want her to be. But apart from that, I mean, yeah, if we look at the farm as well, the junglers are pretty much even. The Kindred did decide to already go for the Berserker Reefs pretty big, as we see the Gnar ultimate coming down, maybe a little bit preemptively.
Yeah, we see the first power spikes. We see the first power spikes coming up. Like we have this swing with the Lost Chapter, and I think actually it's nice to see how Silas just went for the Darkseer like instantly.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can see that he's confident in his matchup. Did already good trades, good amount of trades. We saw the aggression also coming out. Has a little bit of damage onto Pain. He should be able to get away. Does get the movement speed, what we talked about here from the W. Fiora might look the ultimate here, but can't quite close the gap. Does still have the flash, and we have to keep in mind that Pain does not have the flash over Greatex, so we might be able to see Solo Bolo, especially as Kindred is working her way up to the top lane here. Now the transformation is going to come through, but he does not have the Gnar. The thing is, they do have the ultimate. They decide to not go for it as they're moving very, very low. But that
does look great.
A little bit dangerous, yeah. Disengage.
Yeah, I think Greatex has to disengage here. If he decides to go in, I mean, it's still outplayable for him since Fiora does have the damage potential to outdamage Venary really, really hard. And now we see a Drake fight
coming up. Now exactly, the Xenoblade comes down onto Waffler. Waffler gets away thanks to the lantern, decides in the end, and it dies to the ignite, I think it was, and does take over the Seraphine here. They're gonna be diving the Thresh. The Thresh is gonna be able to go down, and what really nice jiggling of the tower aggro here. Well played from the side of Esports, and that's a 2-for-0 into the bot lane.
At some point, I said to my team, prepare to get out your diving suits, and this is what I meant.
I think they went ahead and took that advice from you, because that was a very well executed gank from the Viego, and very well played from Shoya. This time you saw that 1 second that the play was too late was already lethal, and that's what you talk about in this matchup. Like we talked about the counterpick of the Thresh, but if you're 1 second too late with that E, or is just no way out, then you're just, yeah, you don't have a lot of peel anymore. The lantern did come out, but apart from that, the 10 CC was just too much. Walter Falls in the end did not have the flash just yet, as we see Wacky going for a Ling.
It's just insane. Yeah, you see Wacky now, with a Q over the wall, and this looks really, really good. If Wacky decides to go in there, and
Pain has no ID, also does not have the flash. This is gonna be going down for Pain, and it is gonna be Wacky that picks it up in the end. Very sneaky gank onto the top lane and makes it work. And this is gonna be pretty tough for Pain.
This Q over the wall was just insane, but now Wacky's not there for the dragon, and has to work his way there.
Ooh, as we see, this is what they talked about. Now the mid lane does have the flash, but what are you gonna do? It's a Swain ult versus a Swain ult, and Seopantis actually decides to back off. You have to be careful. If the Seraphine does have the ultimate, I think she's going to be using it about now. Green Choya has the flash to get out, manages to get away, and overall, it's a pretty good trade for the side of ECLIPSE Esports, especially considering they just picked up the first dragon of the game, which is a Mountain Dragon.
Yeah, this is actually a really nice drake to get here. Like you want this Mountain Dragon, especially for the Leona, but also for Sea of Pennies, which is who is Silas, and which is a really like who wants to be a bit tanky to go in. Like is his bruiser playstyle, like this champion is just a really nice AP bruiser and can be also played as an assassin. But I think as we can see also on the building path which Sea of Penny is choosing, we will go for this bruiser build, and look at that.
See this engage. They are gonna be able to actually take him down. Wow, I did not expect them to be able to take the Leona down without the Kindred, but here they are in the end. The flash comes out from Kirai, but I think it was a little bit too far away. Might be able to trade one, maybe two. Kirai, 1 HP, does trade 2, and it's a 2 for 2 in the end, and a little bit of a disaster on the side of Woodland Trident, because that was a very good beginning, but Kirai in the end manages to get the outplay, and it's a 2 for 2, game saving. As we see Clouch engage onto Wacky here. You have to be careful that the ultimate onto the ultimate. Clouch no flash, and Wacky does have the flash. Have to be careful because Sea of Pennies is there as the TP comes out from Volt here, and they're back into the bot lane. Now a lot of cooldowns have been used, but it stayed a 2 for 2.
This kind of feels like a Bronx game. Like on the map, everywhere something is happening, but I love the energy. And now we have Greatex going on to Pain, who still has this Mega Gnar form, and he's coming with an ultimate. He still gets the tower shot on. Now we see the nice CC there, but he still has to disengage since he can't get that kill executed on Greatex.
Very well played from Pain there again, but we have to keep in mind Greatex did not use too much there, didn't even invest the ultimate, and that's once again the ultimate use for Pain. At least this time, he did not have to flash away because he did have the tower right next to him. So that means that there's no big cooldown used in our ultimate. Usually is pretty low cooldown, especially from a levels 11 and 16. Then you basically have it every single time that you transform. But yeah, Pain getting a little bit bullied here into the top lane, but not that much. You do see like the 30
I have to interrupt, but please look at the farm difference between Kirai and Volt here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's basically what's happening in bot lane is also happening into the top lane, just on 2 different sides. As you see the Hex Flash coming out onto the bot lane here, we do see the hook does not right connect, but the Glacial Augment is just too damn strong. As the ultimate comes out, ECC, you can do what you want, but in the end, it is gonna be a 2 for 0 for Woodland here, and that's another double kill for the side of Wacky, and that Kindred is starting to look strong.
Yeah, as you have seen, like Kirai was way too close to a fight, and he is Caitlyn. He does have a range, so he should not be like standing next to his support next to Green Koya. And yeah, in the end, it was a double kill for Wacky. Wacky is 4-0, and you see the recurve bow as well as the pickaxe and the 2 longswords. So we have a lot of damage, and we like multiply the DPS with these nice Berserk's Graves. So what we're going to see, I think, is a really nice Kindred carry,
especially no flash. Keep in mind no flash, and that's a solo bolo.
Look at a solo
talk about solo bolo. Pain does have the flash, is able to play this out. Oh, doesn't quite find to get the wall up, but the tower shot. Greatex does not flash him. What is going on? Manages to get the outplay.
Fighter coming, and he gets the kill in the end. Yeah. Right time, right place for Xian. Goes 1-0 and still has his 3 assists.
The euphoria was a little bit short-lived for the side of Greatex there, but does manage to get off the outplay in the end. As Green Choya, once again, he really loves his towers. The Seraphine ultimate just passing by. Really nice.
He wants a nice smoosh, you know? Like, mwah! Give me a tower shot. But I think things will be a little bit more quiet on the bot lane now, since I think ECLIPSE Esports knows like that Seraphine does have the Liandry's. So from now on, Leona just wants to get a little bit more of magic resistance, and then she can go on. What is that?
They're taking the Grump. Yeah, but I think it's really good.
See how a jungle gets trolled there.
Nah, I think it's actually pretty good because Kindred could be there. They don't know. As the engage comes down onto the Thresh, Thresh is going to be able to not get away here, gets fallen pretty quickly. The ultimate from the Silas does come out here. Now the Kindred ultimate finally does take down Green Choya here. What is going on so far? Kirai is going to be able to not get away here as well, as Panties has to flash in to get the kill there. Greatex TP down, but this is going to be enough. This is the Silas with the Swain.
There is no way that he... He TPs into the Swain ultimate. There's no way. Why would it do that? And there's Frost Pigeon
does have the
trying to
flash.
roam.
Should be able to get away.
Gets taken down. Even the Wacky is coming. And now he's procced his ultimate himself. And Great Tex does need to get out.
And then never move. Oh my god.
He got caught. And CEO Panties.
Beautiful, beautiful play in the end. I think in the end it was a 2-4 for the side of EC as the Leona falls, the Caitlyn falls, but the CEO Panties roam into the bot lane. Was there way quicker than Frostbitchen? Was there also way quicker than the teleport of Greatex that I think teleported way too late? At this point you shouldn't teleport into the fight anymore. And this was a very well play from ECLIPSE Esports, because we can also see that Viego right now is on the Drake, I think, and is going to be able to get the second Drake here for ECLIPSE Esports, which is pretty big. It's a Hextech Drake, so that's also very good for the early to mid game that we can see already, as we know that the Soul is going to be Infernal. And CEO Panties, almost gets the double chain onto the Seraphine here in the Lantern, I was going to say, but
on the bot lane.
Kind of. Yeah, exactly, in the bot lane.
It's not quite right. I like how they just swapped and now bot lane is on the mid lane and now trying to get the first mid lane tower.
Yeah.
Frost Pigeon is still there, and now you have 3 guys on mid lane. Can you please just do the tower? No, okay. I mean, the wave play of Swain is, I think, is good enough to actually hold against that.
Yeah.
And now you still Pain. I think he oversteps a little bit.
I think Pain is doing good here because he also does have the hardbound X,
he does
so
have
every
the
single
support
time
of
he
team.
attack. Yeah. True.
Now
and you can see Herald.
Fight on
now keep in mind, Voltaire does not have TP, so this fight could be 4v5 if the Norm moves down. Yeah, Hobbitson going in way too early, and that's a really good stolen ultimate from the Silas there. Decides to go after the Swain, decides to not fully commit to the chase, but just again a 2-for-0, and not only that, but also a Herald. And ECLIPSE Esports is just getting every single thing they want onto this map.
That was an insane executed fight. Yeah, as you've seen how Hobbits and Buddha just went in way too early, just got picked out, and then the Silas who decides to steal this perfect ultimate, who just came out like at the right time, and then the Herald which goes to ECLIPSE Esports and is now getting placed onto the top lane to get the first top lane tower, and then allows Pain to roam more around the map, which you definitely want to have. Like, if Pain decides to go into the bot lane, he can still split push there and forces some people to go down. But no, it seems that we're going to fight here on top lane, which seems to be Pain is getting sold, I think. Which is
Pain is definitely that here, but at the end of the day, it's a little bit an overstay, but they don't really care that much. It's 4k ahead for the side of ECLIPSE Esports, as CEO Panthers in a 1v2. He can be able to win this, but he does not have the stopwatch. Actually, he does have the stopwatch. Manages to stopwatch here. It's a 1v3. He's going to be able to get this anyway. The Kingslayer does not quite come down, but then the Kindred ultimate keeps him alive. He just has to keep his wave. He can get this. This is 1. This is 2. CEO Panties in a 1v3. It's going to get the triple kill. What am I watching, ladies and gentlemen?
Outplay. What am I watching? CEO Panties with an insane outplay on the bot lane, and Voltaire still with the TP of Seraphine. They still can't manage to get out this insanely fed Silas, who just like used the Swain ultimate as good as you possibly can. What an insane play of CEO Panties on the bot lane. This results into an T4 tower for ECLIPSE Esports. Insane plays there.
CEO Panties manages to get the outplay, does not only steal the Swain ultimate and uses it in the right time, but then Wacky decides to use the ultimate instead of just flashing out of the range, deciding to actually give CEO Panties more time here. And as we can see, this Silas now has Zhonya's Everfrost, 24 stacks Magi's, along with those Ionian boots. That ability haste must be sitting at 60-70 by now, and the Silas is just not going to be able to get killed. If you can't kill him with 3 people before Zhonya's, you're not going to be able to kill him with 3 people after Zhonya's. As we do see Frost Pigeon getting caught out here once again, does not have the flash, the really nice Lantern, try to get him away, but that means that Blue Charge has to fall in the end. And Hobbits and Brothers, Jesus Christ, all these names at this point. But yeah, once again, it's a 2-for-0 for ECLIPSE Esports, and as I said, it was just Kingdom. As soon as those 3 outer towers fall, they just decide to do what they want. They played the map to perfection so far. They take the 1 tower, they take the 2nd tower, they have already 2 Drakes, they took the Heralds, which they took the top lane tower with, and then you have that triple kill from CEO Panthers into the bot lane. At this point, it's ECLIPSE Esports game to lose and no longer Woodland Trinket's game to win.
Yeah, you see, like, they dominate this game, and now they're doing the Baron, which is, I think, the perfect right idea. In my opinion, I don't like if people instantly recall after Nash, because you can, like, get a lot more pressure with that thing if you just go instantly on a lane. It depends still if you can buy an item or if you don't, if you cannot. The Drake is coming up in like 35 seconds, and the jungle of Woodland Trident is also there now. 5 people. It's a 5-on-5, I think. Now, coming up onto the dragon pit on the bot side jungle. What you can see right now is the vision getting cleared from Hobbitzenbruder, but insane, like instantly getting how do I say? Instantly getting
removed, taken away,
removed, denied. I was searching
denied.
for
There
denied.
we go. I wanted to talk about how the base at Baron here was actually a good thing, but I think Pain wants to look for that Nara ultimate. Can find 3 people, never mind. It's just Volt here. Does have the flash, but it's not gonna be enough. As they're just walking in here, they don't have to be scared of anybody or anything anymore at this point. Why play for Dragon when you can just walk into the base and simply do this to them? CEO Panties has seen this all before. CEO Panties has seen this in the bot lane, and now CEO Panties sees this in the mid lane. As once again, Flouchen finds these kills with his ultimate.
I think this is GG.
Flawless so far.
I think this is GG.
Definitely, this should be the ending here. We see that 3 people now, soon 2 people, they're gonna be dead. So it's gonna be 3v5 in the mid lane here. Are they gonna be able to stop it? I'm not quite sure. Walter does have the ultimate, and the Swain also does have the ultimate. Frost Pigeon and Woodland Trinket. What can they make happen in here? Flouchen does get pretty low, does not fall in the end. And this means that Greatex is gonna go down right away. The Zhonya's has come out for CEO Panties, and the second kill falls here. Now I think only 1 person so far has fallen, that's Kirai, but this is a 3-for-1 in the base of the enemy team. And while they only have the cannon minion, and they're all falling pretty low, they're kind of playing with fire, but I don't think there's anything else you can do about it. It's 1 versus 4, and Wacky, you might be strong, but ECLIPSE Esports aside, this is their game to win. And at 22 minutes, they get the victory.
And that's a flawless game. Look at that. CEO Panties and Voice and brothers in arms. Like, look at this insanely executed game. I just can't believe what I've seen on bot lane. Am I watching the world? Or what am I doing here? What the fuck?
It's
I just can't believe what I've seen. Just holy fuck. 22 minutes and they just decide to get into the base. I receive win. You receive broken nexus. Look at that.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think that's a trade-off where they want. It was, I mean, the early game was rather trading blows, right, back and forth, and it was very aggressive from the get-go. We didn't have a lot of time to talk about comps or macro decisions on the map because there was constantly action, fight after fight, and it was going pretty even in the beginning. But then at a certain point, ECLIPSE Esports just decided to get the fruits of what they were working for. All the towers, all the dragons, all that objective gold, and all the gold funneled into CEO Panties. And then he managed to get the outplay in the bot lane, and at that point, you know the game is over.
Yeah. At first, I was a little bit worried after I've seen what's going on in the bot lane, like, especially how Hobbitzenbruder just lands every hook, goes in at the right time, still uses his E, and the connection, like, and the connect with the Seraphine E from Voltier. Actually, it was insane. The bot lane of Woodland Trident did, I think, a really good job. Yet still, the mid lane CEO Panties just manages to like rip apart the whole Summoner's Rift. And what we have seen there is a really nice executed Sylas, and that's why I think Sylas is still one of the best mid laners in the game.
Yeah, not only that, but as I said, it was the fact that you leave Sylas open when you pick Swain. That's more than enough, and I hope they won't do the same in game 2.
But we are going to have a small break in between game 1 and game 2. We're back in just 5 minutes. Stay tuned, and see you in 5.
See you later.
so many times pass by. Don't know why I'm losing my mind. Ego was so strong inside. At this point I just live the lie. I just live the lie. I wish I could tell you why. I wish I could feel you again, but I know it's too late, and I know you're away. There's a chance to apologize, nah. It's a goodbye, just a goodbye. Forever and ever, you'll never come back. Just a goodbye, forever goodbye. I sit in my ride, thinking about you. Drive through the night, I got nothing to lose. Strobe city lights, they can tell me the truth. Tell me what I should do, I got nothing to lose. I got nothing to lose, thinking about you. Drive through the night, I got nothing to lose. Strobe city lights, they can tell me the truth. Tell me what I should do, I got nothing to lose. I sit in my so many times passed by. I saw you last time. This is my last ride. I wish we gonna see us on the other side. This is my last ride. On the other side. It's a goodbye, just a goodbye. Forever and ever, you'll never come back. Just a goodbye, forever goodbye. I said in my
And we are back at it again. ECLIPSE Esports versus Woodland Trident by my side. Still crazy, bro.
Yeah, whole half. I don't know what I just saw, but this game was crazy. I don't know.
It
So
was
much
crazy.
aggression,
Just like
so
your
much
name, it
outplays.
was crazy, bro. Understand?
Okay, yeah, okay. Well,
Sportspiele,
okay.
as we say
I'm
in
gonna leave this
Germany.
well. Bye, guys. Have a nice day. No, but I mean, yeah, this game, as I said before, it was pretty blow for blow in the early game, right? But then, as we went into the mid and late game, you did just see the difference in skill, not only in macro but also in these micro fights, in these little fights. And ECS could just time after time they would find these fights, fight these picks, find the right decisions to make. And yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if it's draft that Woodland Trinket can change about this, because I think the draft is not too bad because we did see it working in early game, right? But
I think it was kind of okay.
Yeah.
In the end, I think it was just like on the mid lane. Honestly, it was probably the mechanical skill of CEO Panties, which is just beyond insane. And
Yeah.
also on Feustian, who is a Diego main. I would also say he's a one-trick pony. Like he has hundreds of thousands of mastery points on him. So
Oof.
yeah, that's like comfort picks. And I think if you ban the Viego, you have like a threat limited. I wouldn't say that it's the only thing Feustian can play, since he's an also decent jungler on Sichuani, but with the damage output on Viego and even the pick potential is just beyond insane.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as we saw the Kindred ultimate all not really being used against the Viego, but more of the times being used to rather save itself. So that counter pick in the jungle didn't really work out too well as well. So yeah. Now we're back into the ban phase. We're gonna see the Sona ban already. I don't think we're gonna see too much changes in the ban phase here, probably. And like Shan gonna be taken away as well. The Aatrox, we saw it last time as well. Yeah, I don't think they're going to be changing too much about the draft. I think also Woodland Trinkets knew that it was more of a, maybe performance issue than a draft issue. So I don't think we'll see any change.
No, I mean the Sona ban is definitely the right thing to do since Green Koya is a Sona OTP. So if he gets to pick his Sona, I think bot lane's over actually. What we do see the same bans. Action, I know why you want to ban Action. CEO Pandy's performance on him is they didn't swap sides, didn't they?
Nope, they didn't.
Oh.
And so far we've seen a full repeat, by the way. They decide Seraphine was not the issue as they go for Seraphine again. And Eclipse Esports is like, well, if you want to give us Leona Viego, thank you very much and have a nice day. Now let's just hope they don't lock in Swain with Silas still open. Because if that's so, then this is just a salty run back.
Let's see. Maybe they are like, well, we did it okay, and if we change a little bit of our playstyle, the comp will be executed well. We see Fresh again. I mean, Fresh against Leona is what you want to do.
Yeah, it was fine, definitely. I think a stupid thing to do here is pick mid lane, nonetheless, whether it's Swain or not, because you still have the Seraphine that is a flex, right? So the fact that they picked mid lane last time was just immediately showing that Seraphine's going to go into the bot lane. Especially with Thresh as well, because you could say, Swain might go support, but if you have the Thresh, then you know that's not the case. So if you do not pick mid lane here, draft should be fine. Okay, they're picking Wukong, probably going to be jungle, could be top lane, but I think it's going to be jungle, which is fine into Viego, obviously. You see the matchup, you already know the matchup. Yeah, once again, you can lock in the Silas if you want to, you don't have to. Maybe bot lane here, I think. I think you draft ADC here because you already see your matchup, so you can still go ahead and do what you want. You can go for the Caitlyn, you can go for anything else as well. The Samira, I think, would also not be too bad, but let's see what they pick here.
I had to sneeze. That's why I didn't. That's why I didn't.
Oh, okay, all right. No, that's fine.
I was sneezing.
Bless you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, they went for Caitlyn. Yeah, I mean the lane worked just fine. The first game, why wouldn't you do it in the second game as well? And now we're getting to the second button phase where first one will be Fiora. I think that's okay. Pain had pain against her. So you definitely want to get her out. And now Silas is being banned, which is, I think, absolutely reasonable. You definitely want the Silas ban and not to be picked by CEO Panties who dominated the first game.
Especially, I mean, the thing is, they might opt for the Swain here once again then, right? Because the Silas is this time taken away, so I think a viable ban could be the Swain, could also be the Riven here in the top lane. Could maybe be a little bit hard to deal with because we've seen GreatX play Riven before as well. But let's see. Yeah, it is the Riven ban that's going to be taken away here. As for the last ban, it's probably going to be the mid lane unless they have a top lane pick. Like, for example, the Nard, they don't want nullifying the matchup, or maybe something like an Ornn that they really want to go for the skill and try to have GreatX. So it's not going to be the Ornn, it's going to be the Sejuani, but it's the same concept. I think GreatX is going to look for something aggressive here. The Darius is still on the table.
Since jungle's already picked?
Because Sejuani top lane, right?
Okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah,
definitely
so,
a thing, I think.
Yeah, I think they didn't ban the Swain, obviously, because they want to pick the Swain. I do think Darius here might be an angle. I'm not sure. Maybe not, because they did ban the Sejuani, so you won't have to ban Sejuani if you do play Darius. But once again, they leave the counter pick for the top lane on the side of Eclipse Esports. So I'm really...
Oh, Irelia.
Ooh.
I like Irelia. She's really fun to spectate.
Yeah. I do think the Seraphine is going bot lane here, and they have to pick another AP mid lane here. So I think it's going to be an Irelia top lane. So they're going to pick AP mid into Swain.
Oh, Azir.
I think Azir's fine. It's not amazing into Swain itself, but into the rest overall, it's pretty good. So yeah, Azir's okay. It's also pretty good disengage versus the Leona Viego that you want. Pretty good, especially if you go Conqueror this game. You should go Conqueror. If you don't, then I think you're just a little bit trolling. Yeah, good overall damage. You do need that extra hyperscaling damage because you do not have a traditional AD carry, so to have one in the mid lane is pretty good. Now you're playing against Irelia in the top lane. Do you want to go for something like a tank here, or do you want to fight one-on-one? Okay, so it might be the Maokai. We've seen it being played before by Pain. It is going to be the Maokai. And with that, the draft is complete, and I don't really know what to think.
Actually, I think Maokai is just fine. I think you do want a tank, kind of, since Maokai still brings a crowd control ultimate,
Yeah.
which you might be able to use in a good way. I don't know if I do like the Maokai pick, since you do have like tanks who do the job as well, and a lot better. For example, you got Ornn still open, and I'm a big fan of Ornn. I think I would swap Maokai against Ornn. In jungle, it's still Viego Leona. Nothing to say against. It's
Yeah.
a good combination. On mid lane you have Azir and Swain. I think Theo Pandy's I have seen him on Swain. He's a really good Swain player, and I think this is a little bit Eclipse Esports sided. The bot lane, we've seen it. We've seen it in the first game. Woodland Trident is able to do it. They will be able to dominate this lane if they get through the early game, maybe get 1 or 2 kills. Like if the first blood lands on Seraphine, I think the game for Eclipse Esports bot lane is over. Overall, I think I'm a little bit more on Eclipse's side because their comp is still easier to execute. You do have like champions with a little bit of point and click, so you don't have to use uh, like I think the big amount of skill to play this comp. What you do have is on the side of Woodland Tridents, really hard to play champs like Irelia. You have a Azir and the Thresh. I still think Thresh is one of the hardest supporters you can play. What you do also have is a lot of damage, which is really good. If you get if you are able to pull out your champ and pop off in the game, I think this game will be a win for Woodland Trident. If they don't, it's over for them. Just you cannot outscale just with I think with the will. You need to execute your combination here to get against Eclipse Esports.
Yeah, the thing about outscaling, it's I feel like it's a little bit difficult. I do think the side of Eclipse Esports outscales Woodland Trinket, but in the end, the Seraphine, it depends what she's gonna build, but I assume she's gonna build AP. But nonetheless, I mean, she brings a lot of sustain to the rest of the team, especially together with the Wukong, with the Aurelia, 2 bruisers that are really good with the support of Thresh and Seraphine. Which again, I feel like we talk about damage, but I think aside from the Azir, you don't have any reliable range damage because the Seraphine is still, I don't know, if Seraphine doesn't get fat or even goes even against Caitlyn Leona, I think you're gonna be lacking in the damage department as opposed to Eclipse Esports. So I'm not 100% sure how that's gonna completely pan out. As I said, I didn't really like the Azir into the Swain that much. I feel like until a couple of items, it's gonna take you a while to kill the Swain. Maybe you can bully him a bit in lane with your range. But apart from that, I think it's gonna be pretty hard. I do like the Wukong pick. I think that's probably the thing I like the most from this draft. You do need some more engage, and the Wukong together with the Seraphine and with the range of the Azir, I think they're gonna be able to do some things in team fights. And that's what they're going to be looking out for. I think they need to get some good combos in order to overthrow the one-shot and pick potential from the side of Eclipse Esports, because all in all, their comp didn't change much, though.